What is the right answer for question 1? I want participation from everyone. Yes, the right answer is a micrometer, because the question is a student measures the diameter of a pencil. Which measuring instrument will give the most precise reading? A measuring tape is accurate to 0.1. A meter rule is also 0.1, but the only difference is the range. A meter rule maximum can record 1 meter, which is 100 centimeters. A micrometer is about 0.01 millimeter. A ruler is there, that is also zero point 0.1 centimeter. Question number 2. What is the right answer for question 2? Take your time to answer, but I want participation from everyone. Don't bother about your answer. Maybe it's right or maybe it's wrong. It's not an issue, but this will improve your understanding. You will learn how to solve these type of questions. So the correct answer for question 2 is C. And why the correct answer is C? Because an object is dropped from rest, it falls a larger distance vertically through air. So when they mention about air, means there will be air resistance. How can motion of the object is described? Constant acceleration, it cannot have constant acceleration because there is a air resistance. Increasing acceleration, acceleration cannot increase for falling object. Either it is constant or it decrease, but does not increase. So acceleration will decrease and eventually it will move with a terminal velocity or constant velocity. And what is the condition when it will move or fall with a constant velocity? First, the weight is acting, so resultant force is due to the weight. But as it is moving, its speed increase, so air resistance also increases. So when you find the resultant force, if weight is 10 Newton, air resistance example 6 Newton, so resultant force is 4 Newton. And at certain position, the weight will balance with it. The weight will balance with the air resistance. As the weight balance with the air resistance, there is no resultant force. If there is no resultant force, the object will move with a constant speed. And force and acceleration or force and deceleration are directly proportional. So if resultant force is decreasing, the deceleration will also decrease or acceleration will also decrease basically. When falling object is accelerating, so acceleration will decrease and eventually it will be terminal velocity. So increasing acceleration is totally wrong, because even if there was no air resistance, it can have a constant acceleration but not a increasing. Speed can increase but not about acceleration for a falling object. Question 3. What is the right answer for question 3? I changed the setting so I can see your answer only. Others cannot. Question 3. What could be the right answer? B is the correct answer. Why B is the correct answer? Because the speed is given in kilometer per hour and time is given in minutes. So you have to convert time minutes into hours. If the speed is in meter per second, the time should be in second. If speed is in kilometer per hour, the time should be in hour. So you will divide by 60 to convert this into hour. So 15 divided by 60, which is 1 by 4 or 0.25. And we have the formula for constant speed. Speed is distance over time. So distance is speed multiplied by time. Speed is 60 and the time interval is 0.25. So 60 quarter of a 60, that is 15. So you will get 15 kilometers. Everyone should participate. Don't bother whether your answer is right or wrong. Question number 4. What is the answer for question 4? Question number 4, C is the correct answer. Weight is a quantity. Which quantity is a force due to gravity? So weight is a force due to gravity. Question 5. What is the mass of air? So for question 5, D is the correct answer because density is mass over volume. So you need mass, volume is divided, other side it will be multiplied. So mass is equals to density multiplied by volume. Density is 1.2 and the volume is length, width and height. These are the dimensions of the room. Multiply these dimensions. So 5 multiplied by 4, 20 multiplied by 360 and 60 multiplied by 1.2. So you will get 72. When object is moving in a circular path, what is the direction of the force? When object move in a circular path, the direction of the force. The force is required to change the direction continuously. The correct answer is B. Whenever objects move in a circular path, the direction of the resultant force is always toward the center. And that the purpose of that force is to change the direction continuously. If this object was at another point, if this was A, B, C, and D, so what is the direction of the force? All the points, the direction of the force for object moving in a circular path, that is towards the center. So a car traveling round a circular track, even the speed is constant, but because there is acceleration due to change in direction, and for circular motion, the direction of the force is always towards the center. That is why B is the right answer. Question 7. Two forces P and Q acting and the meter rule, the pivot is at one end and start to rotate clockwise. So it means the clockwise rotation is more than this Q is causing an anti-clockwise and P is causing a clockwise. So they are saying that it is start to rotate clockwise. That's a net rotation. So if it is rotating clockwise, which moment is more? It means the moment, not about the forces when objects are turning, it's a turning effect. So which turning effect is greater? The turning effect of the moment of this force. For how to calculate a moment? Force multiplied by distance. So force is P and the distance is A. So the moment of this P into A is greater than the moment is Q multiplied by A plus B. That's why D is the right answer. Because when we calculate a moment, it is force multiplied by distance from pivot. So for Q, the distance from the pivot is A plus B. And for P, the distance from the pivot is only A. So moment due to P is more than moment due to Q. That is why it will rotate clockwise. So D is the right answer. Why A is not a right answer? If we say two forces are equal, like if I say this is 10 Newton, this one is also 10 Newton, then if force Q is at a longer distance, it means the moment of Q is more, then it should rotate anti-clockwise. That's why this is not correct. Question 8. Which statement give a complete description of an object that is in equilibrium or balance? That is also the condition for object to be in equilibrium. When object is in equilibrium, there is no resultant force and there is no resultant turning effect. This required a calculation, so you can take your time and calculate, find the answer. Using the concept of conservation of the momentum, two objects x and y move directly towards each other. The objects have the masses, have same masses. The object x has a velocity of 5 towards right and object b has a velocity of 3. Where object x and object y collide and stick together. What is the velocity after collision? if they have the same mass, for your calculation you can take any value. You can take, like, example 1. The momentum before is equals to momentum after. B is the right state answer, but how B is the right answer? You have the formula momentum before. The total momentum before collision is equals to total momentum after collision, the sum. So momentum before collision, if I say the mass is 1, so the momentum is 5. What is the momentum of this? 3 multiplied by 1, 3. But because they are in opposite directions, so if this is plus 5, this will be minus 3. So momentum before is plus 5 minus 3. What is the momentum after? When they collide with each other, they stick together, so they have the same speed. The masses is 1, so 1 multiplied by speed, we don't know v, and 1 multiplied by v as well. Because they have the same speed, that's why we are substituting the mass into speed, mass into speed. So this is minus 2, this is v plus v, which is 2v. So minus 2 is equals to 2v, or v is equals to minus 1. So if our final answer is coming out negative, it means the direction which we assume, like example, because when the two objects collide, this is before collision. So once they collided with each other, when the two objects collide with each other, they stick together and they're moving together. So you have to consider where they will move. Example, you consider they're moving towards the right hand side. The idea is that you have to consider after collision, they're moving towards right or they're moving towards left. If your assumption that it is moving towards right, if you're getting a positive answer, it means your assumption was correct. But if they're moving in opposite direction, it means your assumption is wrong. And they already mentioned here in the question. So the two objects have the same mass. So momentum before collision is equals to momentum after collision. So if I take mass as 1, mass as 1, if we take mass as 2, you will get the same answer. For a simplification, I took mass as 1, but you can also take mass as 2. The reason why I was taking 1, so I don't have to calculate. So example, I consider after collision, they move towards right hand side. But both will have the same speed. They will move because they stick together, so they will have the same speed. So momentum before collision is equals to momentum after collision. Before collision, 2 multiplied by 5, that is 10, and this is 2 multiplied by 3, that is 6. But because the directions are opposite, so if one you are considering positive, the other one will be negative. So momentum before collision is plus 10 minus 6. That's a total momentum before. The momentum after collision is 2 into v and plus 2 into v, because Momentum of this object 2 multiplied by v, and the other is also 2 into v. They move with the same speed. 10 minus 6, that is equals to 4, and 2 plus 2, that is 4v. 4 is multiplied, other side divide, 4 divided by 4, I'll get 1. So I'm getting a positive answer, and positive direction, what I assume, that is towards right hand side. So that's why 1 meter per second towards the right hand side. Is it clear? Question 10. Question 10. Brakes are used to slow down a moving car. In which form of energy most of the kinetic energy converted? It is converted in the form of heat. C is not chemical. There is no deformation here. Rigid system is there for brake, not elastic. Sound is there, but most of this, that's why, like example, when you touch a disc brake, you will find that it will be hot because the kinetic energy converted into heat energy. Question 11. A man carries 20. In question number 10, a car is moving. When we apply the brake, it will become hot. So when something become hot, its temperature increase. So that's why most of the energy is a thermal energy. There is no chemical reaction. That's why no chemical energy. Elastic, because there is no deformation, so no elastic. Either thermal or sound, but not always. When you're applying a brake, it is always producing sound. So most of the energy converted in the form of heat or thermal. What is the answer for question 11? The correct answer is D. A man carries 20 tiles from a ground to the roof, and each tile has a mass of 1.2. The roof of the house is 15 meters above the ground. How much work does the man do against the gravity on this tile in carrying them to the roof? So work done is basically stored as a potential energy, or you can use the formula for work done. So work done is equals to force multiplied by distance. How many tiles are there? Force is whenever you are lifting anything, the force which you apply is equals to weight. So there are 20 tiles and each has a mass of 1.2. So first 20 multiplied by 1.2, so we'll get the total mass. And then to convert into gravity, weight is mass multiplied by gravity. So it will be 20 into 1.2 into 10. So what we'll get, this will give us the weight. And to a distance we move 15 meters. So this is 15 and the weight, there are 20 tiles and each of mass 1.2, and the total weight of these tiles multiplied by gravity, which will come out 240. So this will be 240 will be the weight. Work done is stored as a potential energy. Whenever you do a work done, you can also use a formula for potential energy. When you do a work done, your work done stored. When you are lifting an object, it's stored as a potential energy. So even you can find the potential energy. Yeah, so weight is equals to force. Look, you have the formula work done is equals to force multiplied by distance. When you are lifting the object, in that case, lifting the object, the force applied is equals to weight. So what is the weight of this object? Because there are 20 tiles and each is 1.2. So first the mass is 20 into 1.2. That will give us the mass of these tiles. Which is 24 kilogram. But what about the weight of this mass into gravity? So it will be 24 multiplied by 10. So 24 multiplied by 10, what we will get? We will get 240. So if the weight of these tiles is 240 Newton, how much force we need? 240 Newton. So we need 240 Newton and we move to a distance of 15 meter. So we will know the work done. And that work done will store as a gravitational potential energy. So if the question was calculate gravitational potential energy, you will get the same answer as the work done. Question 12. Question 12. Yeah, what's the correct answer for question 12? The correct answer is C. So why C is the correct answer? A car is moving along a straight horizontal road. The car has a 1.6 megajoule of kinetic energy. So in the beginning, the car is having 1.6 megajoule. So 1.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules. Mega means 10 power 6. That is the starting kinetic energy. Then the car accelerates for 20 seconds. So after 20 seconds, the kinetic energy of the car is 2.5, it increased to 2.5 megajoules. So 2.5 into 10 to the power 6 joules. That is afterwards. What is the minimum average power developed by the car engine to for this acceleration? So how much? First thing, originally it was 1.6 exponent 6 joules of kinetic energy. Then it is 2.5 exponent 6 joules of kinetic energy. So how much kinetic energy, or what is the extra energy developed by this engine, which is used as a kinetic energy? So what we will do, we'll take a difference. So 2.5 into 10 to the power 6 minus 1.6 into 10 to the power 6. So that will give the difference, which is equals to um, 0.9 into 10 to the power 6. So that is the extra energy which is developed by the engine. And, and we need the power. What is the formula for power? The power is energy divided by time. So after getting energy difference divided by time interval, so you will get the power. So you know the energy, 0.9, and the time is given 20 seconds. So when you divide, you will get how much energy, how much power is developed by the engine to reach the kinetic energy from 1.6 exponent 6 to 2.6 exponent 6. All the answers are in, this is in joules, but all the answers are in kilowatt. So you should better convert into kilojoule so that your answer will be in kilowatt. When 0.9, when you solve this, it is 0.9 into 10 to the power 6. The energy divided by time is 20. So when you divide these two numbers, you will get 45,000 watts. And 45,000 watt is equivalent to 45 kilowatts. Is it clear? Those who are having a doubt in this? Work done is same as the kinetic energy. Whenever there is a work done, that is stored as a kinetic energy or potential energy or any other form of energy. So basically the work done is same as any kind of work. Whenever there is a work done, it is same as the energy transfer or energy stored. Kinetic energy is the transferred one and potential energy is the stored one. So work done is same as energy. Question 13. The relation between the pressure and the area, they are inversely proportional. When what force we apply, that same force will be applied on the other end. Like if I apply 30 Newton, same 30 Newton will be there other end. But because it's a small area, so it will exert greater pressure. The force will be same, but the pressure that is on the flat surface, the pressure at the sharp point, at this point is greater than the pressure on the flat surface. The relation between pressure and area, they are inverse. Like if you have a nail and you are applying the force on the nail, so what force you apply on the nail, same force is applied other side. The force is same, but the pressure is different. Here, because the large surface area, so small pressure. Small surface area, it will experience greater pressure. Height is centimeter, you should convert into meter. The density is given. What is the pressure exerted by the liquid? Density, gravity, and height. So what's the answer? Height is in centimeter, you should convert into meter. So correct answer is B.